A very pleasant good day to everybody. Go ahead and grab your Bibles and turn to Matthew chapter 7. And we'll give some thoughts, and then you can go back and maybe study these a little bit more with a family devotional. In Matthew chapter 7, verses 13 and 14, Jesus gives some contrast. He says, "Enter by the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way which leads to destruction, and there are many who go in by it. Because narrow is the gate and difficult is the way which leads to life, and there are few who find it." In these two verses, Jesus gives us a couple of contrasts. He talks about there being two ways, two destinies. He first of all talks about the narrow way, the straight and narrow way. Few there be that find it. Why are there only going to be a few people saved? Well, the answer to that is because there are going to be few people who really seek to walk the straight and narrow way. We know that most people are on the broad way. That's the way which leads to destruction. And the Bible tells us many people are on that road. All we really have to do is just watch the masses of people, the direction they are going, and then go the other direction. Then as you read on down a little bit further in Matthew chapter 7, verses 21 through 23, we have some more contrast. Jesus says, "Not everyone who says to me, 'Lord, Lord,' shall enter the kingdom of heaven, but he who does the will of my Father who is in heaven." Now here's a good thought. Not everyone, Jesus says. Well, that's familiar to us because of what we just read in Matthew 7, 13 and 14. Not everyone, but who will go to heaven? Who will be saved? Well, we find out at the end of verse 21. "Not everyone who says to me, 'Lord, Lord,' shall enter the kingdom of heaven, but he who does the will of my Father which is in heaven." So who's going to go to heaven? Those who do the will of God, those who obey the gospel of Christ, those who follow Jesus. These are the ones who will go. He goes on to say in verses 22 and 23, "Many will say to me in that day, 'Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in your name, cast out demons in your name, done many wonderful works in your name?' And then will I declare to them, 'I never knew you. Depart from me, you who practice lawlessness.'" So there it is again. Not everyone is going to make it. Only those who follow the straight and narrow way, and only those who choose to do the will of God. And then finally, I want you to look at Matthew 7, 24 through 27, because here there are two builders. And the question is, what or whom are you building your life on today? "Therefore, whoever hears these sayings of mine and does them, I will liken him unto a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain descended, the floods came, the winds blew, and beat on that house, and it did not fall." Why? It was founded on the rock. But notice the contrast in 26 and 27. "But everyone who hears these sayings of mine and does not do them," that reminds us of Matthew 7, 21. "He will be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. The rain descended, the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house, and it fell, and great was its fall." Now, why was the fall of that house so great? Because of its foundation. So today we have to ask ourselves, what are we building our house on? Are we building our house on the solid rock, the solid foundation of Jesus Christ and him crucified? Or are we letting the world determine how we are building our lives? So take a few moments today and look at Matthew 7, 13 and 14. The straight and narrow way, or the broad way which leads to destruction? It's your choice. "Not everyone that says to me, 'Lord, Lord,' shall enter the kingdom of heaven, but he that does the will of my Father which is in heaven." And then there are those two builders. I have to ask myself the question today, to whom am I building my life on? I hope that this devotional provides for you an opportunity to go back and look at some of the great words of Jesus. Have a great day today.